The ballroom of the Orion Grand Hotel glimmered like a constellation brought down to earth. Chandeliers scattered light across polished marble, the air hummed with laughter, and a live orchestra softened the last minutes of the year into something warm and promising. Outside, fireworks waited for midnight. Inside, people gathered with intentions they barely understood. Some hopeful, some weary, all ready for a fresh page. Anya Malik stood near the edge of the crowd, clutching a small silver clutch as if it were an anchor. She had not planned to be here. Her best friend had insisted, promising that New Year's Eve was meant to be shared, that staying home would only make the silence louder. Anya had agreed, dressed carefully, rehearsed a polite smile, and told herself she would leave early. She didn't know anyone important would be here. Across the room, surrounded by a gentle ring of admirers, stood Arjun Varma, the CEO whose name seemed to live on headlines. He was known for calm leadership, for building companies without breaking people, for listening more than speaking. Tonight, he wore a simple black suit and an expression that suggested he would rather be anywhere else. He accepted greetings with courtesy, his eyes occasionally drifting toward the tall windows where the city glowed. Anya had heard of him, of course. Everyone had. But she had never seen him in person. And she had no reason to care. Or so she thought. The orchestra shifted into a brighter tune. Someone brushed past Anya, spilling a few drops of sparkling drink onto her sleeve. She gasped, stepped back, and turned quickly, too quickly. Her hand flew up, an instinctive reaction born of surprise and balance lost. The sound echoed louder than the music. A sharp slap, clean and unmistakable. The room fell into a stunned hush. Anya froze, her hand still in the air, her breath trapped somewhere between apology and panic. In front of her stood a man she recognized instantly, not from the pain blooming across his cheek, but from the quiet authority in his posture. She had just struck Arjun Varma. Oh my, I'm so sorry, she rushed out, words tumbling over each other. It was an accident. I slipped. I didn't mean. For a split second, she braced for anger, for outrage, for security to appear out of nowhere. Instead, Arjun touched his cheek, blinked once, and then did something no one expected. He smiled. Not a forced smile. Not a thin one. A real smile that reached his eyes and softened the moment like a gentle snowfall. Well, he said, voice calm and amused, I was hoping for a kiss. A ripple of laughter broke the tension. The orchestra resumed, the room breathed again, and Anya felt her knees weaken with relief and embarrassment all at once. I'm really, truly sorry, she said again, cheeks burning. No harm done, he replied. I startled you. That's on me. That made her pause. Powerful people didn't apologize so easily. He offered his hand. Arjun. She took it, surprised by the steadiness of her own fingers. Anya. Happy almost New Year, Anya, he said. Would you like some water? Or perhaps a quieter corner where accidental slaps are less likely? Despite herself, she laughed. And in that laugh, something eased. They moved toward a side lounge, away from the crowd's glittering attention. The city outside pulsed with anticipation, seconds ticking toward a shared beginning. Arjun handed her a glass of water and waited until she'd taken a sip. Are you enjoying the evening? He asked. She considered the question honestly. I wasn't, she said, but now I might be. He nodded, as if that made perfect sense. These events can feel loud when your heart wants quiet. The simplicity of the statement surprised her. Do you always read people this easily? No, he said. Only when I stop pretending I have to impress them. She studied him then. Not the CEO, not the headline, but the man standing comfortably in a soft-lit room listening. You don't like being the center of attention, do you? Not particularly, he admitted. I prefer conversations that don't require a microphone. Anya smiled. Then this is probably your favorite corner. It is now. They talked as the minutes slipped by, about the city, about books that stayed with you long after the last page, about the strange weight of expectations. Anya found herself speaking more freely than she had in months. She told him about her work at a small design studio, about dreams shelved and hopes quietly polished for another day. Arjun listened without interrupting. When he spoke, it was to ask thoughtful questions, never to steer the spotlight back to himself. He shared stories of starting from little, of learning that leadership was less about being seen and more about seeing others. The countdown began in the ballroom, voices rising together. 10, 9, 8. They stood near the window, watching reflections of numbers flicker across glass. 7, the crowd echoed. Anya felt a flutter she didn't name. 6. She glanced at Arjun. He was smiling again, but softer this time, as if the year ahead held a private promise. 5. I'm glad you're here, she said, surprised by her own honesty. 4. So am I, he replied. Accidents can be invitations. 3. The city held its breath. 2. Fireworks sparked outside, light bursting into color. 1. Cheers erupted. Confetti fell like metallic rain. Anya felt the year turn, felt something inside her turn with it. They shared the moment not with grand gestures, but with a shared silence that felt complete. Later, as the crowd thinned and the orchestra played something slower, Arjun asked, "May I walk you to your car?" She nodded. The night air was cool, carrying echoes of celebration. They walked side by side, unhurried. "I meant what I said earlier," he told her, about hoping for something gentler than a slap. She raised an eyebrow, smiling. "You're brave to admit that." "Only because I don't expect anything," he said. "I just appreciate honesty." They stopped under a street lamp. The city glowed behind them, the future open and unmarked. "Can I see you again?" he asked, simply. Anya thought of the year she had just left behind, of the courage it had taken to show up tonight. She thought of accidents that became beginnings. "Yes," she said. "I'd like that." He smiled, not as a CEO, not as a man with 1,000 obligations, but as someone grateful for a small, unexpected gift. As she drove away, Anya realized that some stories begin with careful plans, and others begin with a mistake that changes everything. On a night made for endings and starts, hers had arrived with a single misstep, a kind smile, and a line she would never forget. The fireworks faded, the city settled, and somewhere between one year and the next, a quiet promise took root, patient, hopeful, and real.